Fox News has agreed to pay $1 million in fines after New York's Commission on Human Rights decided last week that the network had routinely and repeatedly violated New York's human rights laws. And all of this, by the way, stems from some of those harassment claims that we have seen coming from people working at Fox News for many, many years at this point. You know, several years ago, they got rid of Roger Ailes. They thought all the problems with the harassment, the horrible treatment of women, they thought it was all coming from Roger Ailes. And of course, Bill O'Reilly got swept up in all this too. There had been many allegations against him, so he was forced out of the network. Of course, he also had been sued for millions of dollars because of it. But Fox News made us believe at the time that, hey, we're getting rid of all the problems, right? We got rid of Roger Ailes. We got rid of Bill O'Reilly. The harassment days are over. Everything's cool. And then New York's Commission on Human Rights says, no, folks. In fact, everything is not cool. You are still retaliating against employees who come forward. There is still harassment taking place at your network. There is discrimination taking place behind the scenes at your network, and all of these things are illegal. You have to pay us $1 million. Now, that's a tiny amount of money for Fox News to pay. I think this fine is absolutely, it's less than a slap on the wrist. It's not even a light breeze on the wrist at this point. Fox News should have been hit for tens of millions of dollars for these things, because if they're not hit by the regulators for these things, they're eventually going to be hit in lawsuits for those massive amounts of money. We know that because we have seen those lawsuits play out over the last few years. But here's the thing, and this is what we always talk about with Fox News. It's a culture. This is the culture that Fox News has created. And sure, they can change out an executive here, an executive there, put somebody else in charge of all of these, complaints and making sure they get handled. Sure, you can do that. But when you have the same people on the network, you still have these scumbags on the air every single day. You didn't change anything. You just put a Band-Aid on it. You changed the public perception of it without actually addressing the problem, and that is what we see at Fox News, and that's why this New York Commission on Human Rights had to fine them $1 million, because it doesn't appear that they're actually changing anything other than a rotation of different executives who get to, handle that particular department until they can't handle it anymore. Fox News is what it is. A zebra cannot change its stripes, and I think that's what we're dealing with Fox News. This is how the network was created. This was the culture that Roger Ailes cultivated for decades at the network, and it's stuck. And it's going to take more than just a couple years and a couple different people to really get that stink out of the network. But another good thing, actually, that came of this fine is that it says Fox News has to take the arbitration clauses out of their contracts for the next 4 years. So what this means is that we're not going to have any of these secret negotiations if new claims of harassment or discrimination emerge. That's not going to be handled behind closed doors. The individuals will actually be able to sue in open court Fox News. So buckle up, because now that those arbitration clauses by the state have been struck down, we might see a lot of lawsuits come out and a lot more disgusting information about Fox News be revealed than we could ever imagine.
One of today's video sponsors is Munk Pack, the makers of these wonderful nut and seed bars that taste a lot like some of your favorite sugary snacks, but contain 1 gram of sugar or less, only 2 to 3 net grams of carbs, and of course, 150 calories. So these are a great alternative to those sugary treats that I know we all love so much. And right now, Munk Pack has a very special offer for our Ring of Fire viewers. Go to munkpack.com, that's munkpack.com, enter code ROF at checkout, and you'll get 20% off your order. And Munk Pack is so confident in their product that it's backed with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll exchange the product or refund your money, whichever you prefer. Monk Pack Keto Nut and Seed Bars have a perfect balance of sweet and salty, a crunch from whole nuts and seeds, but still manage to be soft and chewy. They come in delicious flavors like sea salt dark chocolate, caramel sea salt, and peanut butter dark chocolate. Again, these have actually become some of my go-to snacks to help get me off of all the sugary snacks that I love so very much. And again, right now, go to MunkPack, that's MUNKPACK.com, enter the code ROF at checkout, and you'll get 20% off your order.